Today's story is incredible. The female lead can suddenly see mysterious bullet comments before her eyes. With this god-tier cheat, she precisely avoids disasters, tears the original tragic script to shreds, and walks a path to glory and riches. Click in, let's watch the bullet comments and eat melons together. The wedding date was approaching. After Shishun brought me back to the estate, he hurriedly rode off on his horse. There is urgent military business in the northern border. I must return immediately, Hanyue, wait for me. At that moment, several lines of text suddenly appeared before my eyes. Shishun is so despicable. What military business can't be delayed? It is just to make Hanyue willingly play the nanny, so he can have fun with his lover outside. Once that mistress gets pregnant and Hanyue has already married him, Tetsuke taking advantage of her having no family to rely on, this scheme is truly vicious. She'd be better off marrying Shishun's brother. Don't be fooled by his proper and respectful demeanor. He actually has feelings for his brother's fiancé. Knowing these feelings can't see the light of day, his usual restraint has practically shattered him into countless pieces. Hee, I'm afraid even this cold is fake, just to see Hanyue a few more times before the wedding. I fell silent for a moment. That night, I decisively knocked on Shili's door. Elder brother, bathing in the deep autumn is chilly. Let me add some hot water for you, shall I? Hanyue. Shishun's voice pulled back my wandering thoughts. A trace of impatience flashed across his face as he irritably ran his hand through his hair. I'll be back before the new year, all right. The northern border has always been unstable. If I don't go back to handle it, I'm afraid the wedding will have to be postponed even further. And on top of that, my elder brother is seriously ill. Don't worry, once my brother gets better, I'll bring my father back and give you an even more grand wedding ceremony to make up for it. As he said this, Shishun kept glancing outside. It didn't sound like a discussion, more like a notification. Before I could open my mouth, text eagerly leaped out before my eyes. This Shishun wanting everything both ways, and even using his father and brother as excuses. Hanyue, don't believe him. In contrast, Shili can't wait to put you on a pedestal. He'll never have concubines or mistresses in this lifetime. His heart and eyes are full of only you. That is right, he has already written his resignation letter, requesting a transfer to Jiangnan, and he is planning to leave all the family assets to you too, after you and Shishun get married and never come back. I was immediately shocked. He is leaving. As if responding to me, the text appeared again. Yes, he has been secretly planning everything for Hanyue. All the servants in the household were personally trained by him, and will only be loyal to Hanyue. Woo-woo, seeing things from Shili's perspective is just too romantic. Perhaps my shock was too obvious, as Shishun let out a low chuckle. His tone unconsciously lifted, carrying a hint of smugness. Happy now? Me dad will definitely come back for my wedding, won't let you lose face. All right, I've said everything I needed to say. I'm leaving now. Remember, you must take good care of my elder brother. As if to comfort me, he leaned forward wanting to kiss my forehead. I dodged to the side. Go on. Be careful on the road. There were still people waiting outside the carriage. Shishun didn't have time to think too much, just assumed I was being shy. He left in a great hurry, without even entering the manor gates. He mounted his horse and galloped toward the city gates. I stood still in place, watching his figure disappear. The next moment, the words boiled up again. Just turned a corner and got back on the carriage. Turns out he hid his mistress in the carriage. Wow, truly does nothing but bad deeds, absolutely no bottom line. Me, as if I had touched something filthy. I jumped off the carriage as if flying. No wonder when Shishun came in, there was inexplicably a sickly sweet smell of powder in the carriage. There were also suspicious red marks on the side of his neck, and his lips were broken too. I had even asked him about it. What did he say again? He was in such a hurry on the road to see me sooner. Sleeping and eating outdoors and getting bitten by insects was normal. Told me not to worry too much. I was still puzzled. What kind of insect specifically bites lips? So that is it. That bug was her. I had the others enter the mansion first and followed alone. After all, this coincidental appearance of the text needed to be confirmed at the corner. There really was a carriage hidden in the shadows. I moved closer, couldn't see the face clearly, but the voice was confirmed without a doubt. The woman's voice also sounded familiar, but I just couldn't remember where I'd heard it. Miss Bai, what are you? The butler came up from behind me. It is nothing. I wanted to chase after him to ask something, but he ran too fast. I forcefully suppressed the disgust in my heart and managed a smile. Oh. The butler's smile faded a bit. The second young master has always been like this. Perhaps you could write a letter. I'll have someone chase after him and deliver it. You must be tired from the long journey. I shook my head. No need. How is Big Brother? Afraid he'd ask more. I hurriedly changed the subject that handwriting had one thing extremely right. Shun only dares to trample on me like this. Because I'm a helpless orphan girl. My betrothal to him was arranged as children, all because Father Shi had once received kindness from my parents. But when I was 10 years old, on their journey back to the capital, me parents encountered bandits, and both died protecting the people. Since then, I've been alone and helpless, and my aunt never treated me kindly. Mother Shi passed away early, and with no female family members in the mansion, Father Shi proposed that after I turned 20 Jan2, we should marry soon. Shun and I could be considered childhood friends, but we mostly kept in touch through letters. The last time I saw him was on the day of my parents' funeral. The young man came galloping on horseback, and upon seeing me, held me tightly. Hanyue, don't be too sad. From now on, my family will be your family. He was a military officer, not good with words, yet gave me a moment of warmth. But now times have changed, and so have people's hearts. The butler said Shili initially just had a cold, but somehow it got worse day by day. I guessed it was from accumulated exhaustion and illness. Unlike Shun, he was a civil official, a close minister to the emperor. Working through the night was naturally a common occurrence. Sure enough, pushing open the door, I saw a slender figure wrapped in white fox fur, fist clenched lightly, coughing while hunched over the desk reviewing documents. The autumn wind was bleak, yet inside it was warm as late spring, even stuffy. The text before my eyes became active again, worthy of being the elder brother. His bearing is so much stronger than Shun's, and he looks so handsome and gentle too. Compared to marrying that heartless bastard and possibly becoming a living widow in the future. Big Brother is gentle and loves only you. Romantic gestures come naturally to him. Where else would you find such a perfect soulmate? Though I didn't quite understand, I looked toward Shirley. His peripheral vision had indeed noticed me long ago. Yet he still kept his back straight and gracefully wrote stroke by stroke. I moved a bit closer. Only then did he seem to suddenly come back to his senses. Hanyue, his voice carried some weariness, yet remained clear and pleasant. The text immediately became active. Mao, the butler reported it ages ago, and he is still acting like he just noticed. I'm totally shipping this secret crush CP. Am I the only one who noticed? As soon as Hanyu walked in, Shili's whole body tensed up. His writing got all crooked, and he super casually tried to cover it up. Ha ha ha! To cover it up, he even pretended he couldn't stand up, dude. You've got a cold, not an injured leg. My cheeks flushed hot. Seeing him get up, I instinctively stepped forward to support him. My fingertips touched his slightly cool wrist, yet it felt as if I'd been burned. Right, he only has a cold. I was about to withdraw my hand when he gently gripped it tighter. Hanyue, he smiled bitterly. Sorry for the embarrassment, my body's failing me. I helped him sit down. Big brother, no need to be formal. Wasn't a Jian soon supposed to pick you up? Where is he? My emotions gradually settling. I lowered my eyes. He returned to the northern frontier. Said he'll definitely be back before the new year. Shirley's expression shifted slightly. I smiled sweetly. Let's not talk about him. Let's talk about you still working while sick. Can't official business wait? Shirley was silent for a moment, then sighed softly. There is no one to manage the household, and His Majesty's matters cannot be neglected either. I can only deal with things here and there when I'm feeling slightly better. After speaking, he coughed a few more times, his cheeks flushed with sickly redness. Text flew by rapidly. Such an act, hasn't let go of her hand since grabbing it, and hinting the household lacks a mistress. The tea is overflowing, bro. His ears are so red. He is clearly scheming to attract Hanyue's attention and feeling guilty about it. I secretly glanced over. The flush on his face gradually faded, but his ear tips were still blood-den red, his gaze occasionally falling on my wrist. I paused, then reached back to grasp Shirley's large hand. "Big brother, do you want to get married?" The entire room fell silent after a long while. He raised his eyes to look at me. "What do you mean?" I leaned forward, moving closer, gazing into those deep eyes that suddenly lit up. "Hanyue wants to marry you. Is that all right?" Beautiful. Please spam straight ball beats expert in the chat. I originally thought Hanyue would still be conflicted and dragging things out for a few more chapters, but our female lead's whole thing is efficiency. Discovered the scumbag cheating, investigated that same day, and that very night directly launched a marriage proposal offensive at the top. Tia male second lead. Igzy Lithe, this old fox, acting all fragile here, hinting that his household lacks a mistress. The green tea vibes are practically wafting out of the screen. But then Hanyue's single line, "I want to marry." You dealt him true damage. Ha ha ha. Serves you right for acting. Look at him now. Hasn't his brain CPU completely fried? So satisfying. I just love leads who actually speak their minds. The comment stream had already turned into complete chaos. He didn't immediately agree, but seeing him flustered and fleeing in panic, Leomao, did he forget he is still seriously ill? He is probably afraid Hanyue is acting on impulse, right? After all, the engagement is still with the younger brother, but he can't bear to refuse. Heh. Goes to Guyuan Temple every year to pray for Hanyue to look at him just once more, but when she is actually in front of him, he chickens out. I felt a bit dazed. Actually, as a child, I liked Shirley the most. He was 3 years older than me. A gentle big brother versus an annoying brat who pulled my braids. There was no need to choose when I grew up. I once asked Mother, "Why can't I marry Brother Lee?" Father said that Shirley was the eldest son who needed to inherit the family business. He was also precocious and brilliant, destined to hold high positions of power in the future. Marrying him would be too hard. Mother also said that Shishun was a military general who would surely protect me so I could live peacefully and freely. But the yearly letters, holiday gifts, and social exchanges with the Shi family were all personally handled by Shili. What about Shishun? In his replies to me, he always hinted between the lines that I was boring and too bookish. When he visited, it was mostly because Shili dragged him along toward me. He had at most sibling affection, no love whatsoever. He was unrestrained and hated being bound. To him, I was shackles. He didn't like me. I knew this early on and was helpless about it. Compared to my man-eating aunt's family, the Shi household was my salvation before. I always thought Shishun took such good care of me, often having people send clothes and snacks to look after me, because of his younger brother. He would even write letters to comfort me, telling me to seek him out if I had any troubles. But those letters, cousin even teased me about them, saying she never expected Shishun could write love letters so sickeningly sweet. Acrostic poems. I thought they were just coincidences for 3 days straight. I didn't see Shirley, but everything in the household was arranged very properly. Food, clothing, and daily necessities were all to my liking. Even the furnishings inside the room were restored to how they looked when my parents were alive, so meticulously that it left one stunned. If he won't make a move, I will. That very night I went and knocked on his door. Big brother, bathing in the deep autumn cold. "Let me add some hot water for you, shall I?" I knew this wasn't proper, but I couldn't wait any longer since I was caring for his illness. I had every right to be here. The sound of water inside stopped abruptly, after the rustling sounds of getting dressed. Shirley's slightly hoarse voice came through the door. "Hanyue, can't you open the door?" I interrupted, playing dumb, as if helpless. Shirley opened the door. A wave of moist heat rushed at my face, and in the misty vapor. Even the person emerging seemed ethereal and otherworldly. I quietly swallowed and looked straight at him. "I don't like Shishun. Like you." Unexpectedly, the corners of Shirley's lips seemed to curve up slightly as he nodded. "Come in and talk." Then he turned and took out a gold Jan-painted wooden box from the curio shelf. opening it to display its contents one by one. These are the deeds to my fields, properties, and receipts for my savings. This is the Shi family seal and the key to my private treasury. This is the divorce papers I've already signed and sealed. Han Yue, you know my family situation. I've never had any concubines, and I'll only ever have one wife in this life. If you regret this later and want to leave, I'll go along with whatever you decide. Shili's expression was calm as he pushed these things in front of me. Damaku. Look at that, his grin stretching all the way to his ears, and he is still trying to act calm. Those who don't know any better would think Han Yue's forcing him into marriage. If you ask me, if Han Yue smiles at him one more time, that thank you gift won't be called a thank you gift anymore. It'll be called a salute. I clear my throat lightly, though I don't understand what that last part means. It is definitely nothing good. Shili freezes, concern overflowing in his eyes. Have you been waiting outside for a long time? As soon as the words leave his mouth, he realizes he misspoke. He hurriedly gets up to fetch a cloak. I didn't mean it like that. Brother Li, I look up at him directly. Do you have feelings for me? No matter what the handwriting says or what Shili does, I must ask him clearly in person. He is too gentle and upright. As long as I say I don't like Shishun, even if he doesn't love me, he would still marry me because of our engagement. Shili lowers his eyes, and the deeply hidden affection suddenly surges into my view. My heart trembles instantly. Han Yue have feelings for you. He understands what I mean, and gives me his answer. I smile with my eyes curved, throwing myself into his embrace. Then let's get married soon, is that okay? Okay. Shi wraps his arms around me tightly, his chin gently nuzzling the top of my head as he speaks in a low, soft voice. You don't know how long I've been waiting for this day. Just as the mood is at its peak, Simone accidentally interrupts. The butler awkwardly withdraws his foot, says that a letter from Shishun has arrived. Han Yue, the situation at the northern border is not good. I'm still on the road. How is Big Brother doing? Take him out for walks more often. He always loves to shut himself in the study. I'll definitely return before the new year. Sorry to trouble you. Just a few short lines with a package of pastries attached. I didn't avoid Shili. His brows furrowed slightly as he looked at another letter in his hand. It arrived right before or after Shishun's. Father Xie was even more brief, and to the point. 督促你弟接回韩月，准备大婚，我不日便回. One says the situation is not good. The other says he'll return any day now. The liar's exposed without even trying. And then there is that package of pastries. I sniffed it. The text exploded, giving the female lead someone else's leftovers. Shishun, have you no shame? Still on the road, he is clearly hiding just a few streets away. Where does he get the nerve to ask when he doesn't want to take care of his brother himself? Shirley's eyes turned cold as he gestured for me to give him the pastries. I mistakenly thought he wanted to eat them. Instinctively pulled my hand back. The pastries were too dirty, and they were specially supplied by Fuyun Tower. If Shirley figured it out and dragged Shishun back home, things would be troublesome. After all, he'd been used to being controlled since childhood, so I couldn't be sure of his attitude. In case things got messy, Shirley would get a headache, and I'd be annoyed too. Who knew the text would start flooding the screen? Now Mao Hanyue pulled her hand back, and Shirley's gaze shattered all over the floor. He thought Hanyue regretted it. His fists were about to explode, but on the surface he is still pretending to be calm. I stole a glance over. His fist was clenched rock-jan hard, but the moment it met my gaze, it suddenly relaxed. I couldn't help but chuckle, taking Shirley's hand in mine. The pastries have absorbed the smell, so I'm not giving them to you. He doesn't want to marry, and I'm unwilling to wed him either. Why invite unnecessary complications? Once we're married, let's not have him come back outright. Shirley lowered his eyes, gazing at the hand I held, then gently lifted it and pressed a kiss to the back of my hand. In the dim yellow candlelight, two elongated shadows intertwined intimately, creating an inexplicably ambiguous and stirring atmosphere. All right, I'll do everything as my wife wishes. This address of wife came out so naturally, devout and earnest. It entered my ears and touched my heart, sweetness spreading within. I stood on tiptoes and couldn't resist stealing a kiss on that handsome profile. Then it is settled, as if to prove it was unavoidable. Zixun's letters arrived every few days, either instructing me to take good care of his brother with peace of mind, or asking about my preferences, saying he'd bought things along the way and had them sent back. While claiming the journey was urgent, he still had the leisure to buy things, sending back a pile of perfunctory trinkets. The handwriting was equally disdainful. Sachets from Wuzhou. Some woman wore them for half a day and got tired of them and didn't want them anymore. They're seriously ugly. Heavenly silkworm brocade from Lizhou feels nice to the touch. But who would like this dull color? Such questionable taste. Haoshan's 1,000 Jan strand malt candy. Does she even have a brain? Claiming it was sent back over mountains and rivers. Wouldn't it have melted by now? Who is she trying to fool? And that tacky rouge, not to mention the color, it is the newest product just released in the capital. Your brother already prepared a complete set for you, way more generous than her. Clothes and jewelry, rouge and powder, antiques and gold and silver. There were already plenty of thank-you gifts prepared. Now even more boxes were being brought into the room, stuffing my courtyard full to the brim. He said this was him preparing my dowry. My parents did leave behind some family assets, but after Aunt's embezzlement there was barely anything left. On top of that, what I'd used over the years really couldn't compare to the Xia household. When Zixun came to pick me up, he also asked with disdain, "Why are you taking all these vulgar things with you?" I nearly burst out laughing. Without the support of these vulgar things, I'm afraid Aunt's family would have devoured me down to the bone long ago. All wedding matters were being arranged by Shili, the 18th of next month, though somewhat rushed. It was still the best date before the new year. Everything originally prepared for Zixun was completely replaced by Shili. He claimed illness and stayed home, while the entire household busied themselves non-stop. The Xia family's wedding soon spread throughout the streets and alleys. As for me, each day was nothing more than embroidering the bridal veil, then sipping tea and admiring flowers. How delightful. Occasionally, the writing would precisely inform me of Zixun's whereabouts. In the back courtyard of Tianqiang Tower, a group of people were feasting and drinking lavishly. Someone smiled and poured wine for Zixun, brother Xia. Your child bride has been back for half a month already, and you still don't plan to go home and get married. Amidst the soft music, Zixun ate the grapes fed to him by the beauty in his arms, laughing wantonly. Let's wait a bit longer. Brother Xi is amazing. Someone gave a thumbs up, daring to postpone the wedding to accompany a beauty. Only that little childhood sweetheart of yours could tolerate it. If it were any other noble lady, wouldn't she have blown up already? But if your father and elder brother find out, won't you get disciplined? What is there to be afraid of? Zixun sneered. Bai Hanyu has been set on marrying me since childhood. Me brother and father will let it slide for her sake. That I agreed to the marriage at all. She should be grateful beyond words. Just a concubine, which family doesn't have a few of those? He and his brother were also born of different mothers, yet their relationship remained harmonious. Besides, when he mentioned bringing father back to the capital for the wedding ceremony, Bai Hanyu's delighted expression, the person asking nodded. True, if she didn't love you deeply, she wouldn't have rejected your brother to choose you. The person beside him gave a light huff, displeasure showing on their face. A concubine, so I can't even enter the main gates of the Xia residence. Zixun's smile faded as he lifted Qinsu's chin. Don't say such ungrateful things again. I've told you. Only once you've borne a child of the Xia family blood will you be qualified to enter the Xia residence and behave yourself. As for the position of legitimate wife, if you harbor such twisted ambitions, I can easily replace you with someone else. Qinsu's face stiffened, then she put on a flattering smile and kissed Zixun on the corner of his mouth. Got it. I'll definitely behave myself. I'm just curious, that is all. The others also looked at Zixun with confusion. Zixun downed several cups of wine in one go, but didn't explain. In any case, my wife can only be Bai Hanyu. She loves me so much, and I will never let her down. Come on, let's keep drinking and talk about something else. Ahem, brother Xia is a man of deep feeling. We brothers all understand. They each secretly chuckled to themselves, as if understanding the deeper meaning behind someone's stubbornness. Shishun awkwardly looked away, his face flushing red as the strong liquor took effect. By the way, which family is having a celebration recently? Why all this commotion? Someone hesitated for a moment, then asked in confusion. You don't know the Shia manor. I heard from my dad that even though Lord Shia claimed illness, he never stopped handling official business. But these past few days he requested leave from His Majesty, saying he is getting married and has no mind for official duties. Huh? Which family's daughter is your brother marrying? How come you've never mentioned it? Shishun was shocked. Getting married. Yeah, your household has been bustling with people coming and going lately. I heard that those who've received invitations so far are all close to your brother. Me old man even threw a little fit about it. The person suddenly slapped his forehead. Wait, that is not right. Could it be that your brother saw you were getting married and deliberately rushed to go first? Hearing him say this, Shishun finally felt relieved. He calmly raised the corners of his mouth. You're overthinking it. My brother would rather stay single and alone for life than settle. He is probably just making up an excuse to prepare for my wedding since I don't have time to go back. After all, he watched both me and Hanyue grow up, so he won't leave us to fend for ourselves. He didn't notify anyone else, so he must be waiting for me to come back and make the final decision. Hanyue is also obedient and well behaved, so it looks like I can just go home and enjoy everything ready Dan made without worrying about anything. He paused, then hugged Chinsu tighter to comfort her. Perfect timing. Take advantage of these days to stay close to me and try to give the Shia family an heir. You're terrible. Chinsu shyly covered her face. Shishun picked her up and carried her back to the room with large strides. His confident certainty and urgency made him overlook the puzzled muttering of the person behind him. But the wedding date is set for the Shibath of next month. How can your brother be sure you'll definitely make it back in time? Withered yellow leaves spun in circles and landed on my hair. I quietly picked it up, threw it away, and stepped on it. The wedding preparations proceeded in an orderly manner. After uniformly cursing out Shishun, the comments were all relishing the drama between me and Shirley with great interest. For example, I gave him an embroidered pouch I'd made in my spare time. Oh my goodness, just realized all the ones given to Shishun before were bought, but everything for the older brother is personally embroidered by hand. The signs were there all along. Then there was me brushing fallen leaves off his shoulder. Kiss, kiss, kiss. The atmosphere is perfect. It'd be such a waste not to kiss. For example, when I accidentally tripped, Exili caught me in time. This is it. This is the vibe. Just get married on the spot. I love it. I want to see it. I like it. Don't censor anything. Me. The bullet comments are pretty anxious, and I'm getting anxious too, after Sheely's cold recovered. This elegant and refined young master has been all smiles every day, making me dizzy with infatuation. The key thing is he himself still maintains self-gen restraint and propriety, resolutely refusing to cross the line even one step. He says it is because he is afraid of wronging me that night. I knocked on his door once again. Hanyue, come in. Shirley didn't seem surprised by my arrival, or rather, he had already gotten used to me coming close to him. I glanced at the man who had just bathed. His lips moist and rosy red, silently sat down and poured some water. Uncle Shi's side, how did you handle it? Shirley closed the door and smiled slightly. My dad said it is all good, he'll head back tomorrow. That simple. I thought it would take at least some effort to convince him, or more likely that Uncle Shi wouldn't agree and would go fetch Shishun back to marry me. Shirley explained gently, saying that Uncle Shi had also mentioned before that he feared Shishun was unreliable and would treat me poorly. But since this was my choice back then, he didn't feel it was appropriate to interfere. Now that we're bringing up sad stuff. Hanyue, why don't you take the chance to give him a hug? Bro is practically dying of feeling wronged, thinking he is not good enough and Hanyue doesn't like him. Speaking of which, although Hanyue's parents said it was for her own good, they still had traditional parenting ideas and didn't even ask Hanyue what she thought. Good thing the destined match wasn't missed. Hanyue, keep up the good work and charge ahead. If your man is old Jan fashioned, we'll just be more decisive. Happiness is in your own hands. The text made a very good point, but I didn't move. I could take 9 steps, but Shirley had to take that first step. As a young lady from a noble family, I still needed to have the proper dignity and face. I could embarrass myself, but I couldn't embarrass the Bai family. Actually, I wasn't the one who chose back then. I confessed my parents' opinion to Shirley, then told him, "If you regret it, I don't mind. How could I?" Shirley hurriedly pulled me into his embrace. "In this lifetime, other than you, I won't marry anyone else. Moreover, I've already submitted the transfer documents to His Majesty. After we get married, we'll go to Jiangnan." I raised my head in a daze. "I'm sorry I should have discussed this with you first, but His Majesty was in such a rare good mood that day, and I got so busy afterward that I forgot." He looked ashamed, then hastily said, "But Hanyue, rest assured, once we go to Jiangnan, your current lifestyle won't change. Fine clothes and delicious food, whatever you want, I can provide for you." I stared deeply at him, saying nothing. Originally the comments were saying that Shirley would leave the capital for me, which made me very confused and even shocked. What shocked me was that he would go this far for me, even leaving his hometown. But I also wondered, if I really married Shirshun and wasn't always in the capital, he'd have no reason to avoid me. But from spending these days together, I roughly understood some things. The Xie family already held great power in the northern border. If Shirley also shone brilliantly in the imperial court, no matter how much the emperor trusted him, it would probably attract trouble from standing out too much. Jiangnan is a wonderful place. I really like it. Our eyes met, understanding in our hearts. Shirley's slender eyelashes lowered, casting a shadow beneath his eyes, within which flickered a strange brilliance. "Hanyue, how can you understand me so well?" I smiled and leaned closer. "Because we're soulmates. I think that is what it means. Hanyue isn't a transmigrator, right? How could she know this term, God? They're perfect for each other. Brother really does love Hanyue. He originally wrote the remote Luzhou, but forcibly changed it to Jiangnan, a place for retirement." The emperor had no choice but to agree after he talked circles around him. "Trust brother, he'll definitely spoil Hanyue to the heavens. Who told him to be a wife, Jan doting maniac with both physical strength and intellect? Hee. If it wasn't to attract Hanyue's attention, why else would he climb so high to build momentum? Can't wait for the wedding night." Early the next morning, Father Xie first called Shirley away. The butler said the young master got scolded, but Shirley came out smiling. Then Father Xie called me into the study and only asked me one question. "Are you willing?" Willing, extremely happy. I knelt down and bowed deeply to Father Xie. Father Xie sighed. "That is good then. Don't bother with that good Gen for Gen nothing. From now on, you'll be his elder sister Zen in Zen law. If he upsets you, just come find me." My nose tingled, and I held back tears welling up in my eyes. "Uncle, thank you." Sincerity and pretense are really easy to tell apart. During those years at my aunt's house, even though Father Xie was far away and couldn't reach me, his gifts and care for every festival never once failed to arrive. "Good child, go on." Shirley was waiting outside the door. Seeing me come out, he grasped my hand and gently pulled me into his embrace. Winter had arrived, and there were only 3 days left until the wedding. Holding me, he realized he hadn't yet taken me out for a stroll. I didn't really want to, but he insisted. Though the capital's winter days were cold, the sunlight was wonderful, and the vexations of being cooped up in the estate were instantly swept away. Shishun carefully fastened my fox fur for me, his fingertips inadvertently brushing across my chin, bringing a ticklish warmth. Our fingers interlaced. "Whatever you like, just buy it." The tenderness in his eyes, and my turning to whisper drew sidelong glances from passers-by. Words danced gleefully before my eyes. "Aha, it is public now. It is public, bro. You're so brave. You really aren't afraid of your brother jumping out. Did you see? Shishun's eyeballs are about to pop out from anger. Ha ha ha, this is so satisfying waiting for the face Jan slap. That is the way. Piss off that Shun. My heart felt slightly warm, and I unconsciously leaned closer to him. Shirley noticed the corners of his lips curving into a smile. His warm, dree palm seemed to shield me from all the harsh cold and chaos of the outside world. As expected, this quiet warmth didn't last long. Higher, move aside, every own move aside. A rush of urgent hoofbeats came from the distance, causing chaos on the street. Shishun lowered his gaze, his eyes immediately falling on our clasped hands. By Hanyue. Shishun's gaze shot over like a sharp arrow. What are you two doing? Let go of her. He dismounted, rushed to my front in a few steps, and reached out to pull me away from Shirley's side. But Shirley moved faster, gracefully stepping half a step to the side, shielding me behind him. Ashun, don't be rude. Shirley's voice wasn't loud, but it carried the unquestionable authority of an elder brother rude. Shishun laughed in anger, pointing at us, his voice rising with fury. Brother, how long have I been away from the capital? You actually with her. How can you two face me? His eyes blazed as he glared at me again. Hanyue, you tell me, did he force you? It seemed like a question, but was more like a confirmation, as if I were still that orphan girl who was obedient and never contradicted him, who would return to his side with just a crook of his finger. Text frantically scrolled past. He still has the nerve to question us. Hanyue, hurry up and clap back at him. Show him what it means to have improved after 3 days apart. I looked at that face twisted with anger, only feeling confused, not understanding how he could disregard even the bond between siblings, to turn against me so blatantly, disregarding the criticism of those around us. If he doesn't love me, then why go this far? Forget about whether the thank Janyu gift was actually stolen or not. The way he is so angry looks like someone who has been deeply betrayed. If I hadn't witnessed and heard those things with my own eyes and ears, I'd think he was deeply in love with me. However, his thoughts have nothing to do with me. I peeked out from behind Shirley, meeting his gaze, me tone calm to the point of indifference. Young General Shi, please, watch your words. No one forced me. It is my own choice to marry Brother Li. Your own choice. Zishun looked as if he'd heard the most ridiculous joke, his expression shocked and absurd. By Hanyue, have you lost your mind? I'm your fiancé. That was before, I said in a calm voice. The engagement has been annulled. Now I am your elder brother's wife, Jan to Jan B. Propriety dictates that you should address me as Sister Jan Jan Law. Sister Jan and Jan Law, what nonsense are you spouting? Shishun seemed to be scalded by those 2 words, abruptly stepping back with his face ashen. He turned to look at Shi Li. Where is father? You've committed such an unrighteous act. Does father know about this? Naturally I know. Shi Li's voice was as steady as a mountain. The wedding is in 3 days. Shun, you've come back at just the right time to drink a cup of wedding wine. This is impossible. Si Shun swung a punch. Shi Li, I treated you like my own brother. You actually lied to me and even dared to steal my woman. I was so scared I closed my eyes, afraid of Shi Shun causing such an unreasonable scene. Shi Li, being a civil official, was at a disadvantage against him, but unexpectedly, Yixi Shun's fist didn't come down. I turned my head to look, and saw Shi Shun's hand frozen in mid-zen air, his eyes actually showing panic. Jian Shun, watch your words. She is your sister, Jianin Zen Law. Shirley's expression remained gentle, but the cold, oppressive feeling in his eyes solidified into reality, like a sharp blade stabbing out. Have you properly handled the military affairs of the northern border? That Miss Chin by your side, and the flesh and blood in her belly. How do you plan to deal with them? Ashun, have you thought it through? Shishun suddenly choked, the color draining from his face, his mouth open but unable to utter a single word. He looked at me. Hanyue, listen to me. Go home. You must be tired from traveling day and night. One sentence blocked his sophistry and was also telling him indirectly. I know everything. Those schemes he thought he had hidden so well were exposed so lightly, and Shishun instinctively wanted to step forward again. I ignored him and looked directly toward the third floor of the restaurant on the side. Those charming eyes, after meeting mine, immediately avoided my probing gaze. Faint whispers came from around us. "Miss Chin, who is that? If young General Xia has a female confidant, why would he still try to stop young Master Xi from getting married? I heard long ago that the Xi family had an arranged childhood engagement. I thought it would be with young General Xia. But now it seems this beauty and young Master Xia are the perfect match. Such an enviable couple." Xia face turned from white to green, then from green to red, shame and anger mixed together. He glared fixedly at Xia Hiss, eyes filled with indescribable complexity. Xia, however, no longer looked at him. He turned around to tidy my hair that had been tousled by the wind, his tone tender and affectionate. "The wind is picking up. Let's head back too." "All right." I smiled sweetly, walking past Xia, who stood frozen in place without so much as a sideways glance. At that moment, I clearly sensed how the gaze behind me changed from angry and burning hot, gradually becoming dejected and hollow, until finally only loneliness and wretchedness remained. The text was filled with jubilation. "Instant kill, bro, is mighty. Ahaha. The masses have discerning eyes. That is the stuff. So satisfying. Hanyue's final look was perfect. Indifference is the greatest contempt. This hypocritical man pretending to be some deeply wronged lover." In the carriage returning home, Shili kept holding my hand tightly, never letting go, scared. He asked in a low voice. I shook my head and smiled at him instead. "With you here, I'm not scared." He gazed at me for a moment, the last trace of worry in his eyes melting away, transforming into an inseparable tenderness as he gently pulled me into his embrace. "Hanyue, you are mine, no one can take you away." After Shishun returned to the residence, he knelt outside Father's study for an entire night. It is said that at first he refused to submit, arguing loudly, even recklessly accusing Shili of stealing his love. But who is Father? I hadn't changed my mind for many years, yet suddenly had a change of heart right before the wedding. Naturally, he would investigate. Every single thing, the days of idling around and fooling about, the outrageous behavior at Tianxiang House, Chinsu's boastful words to outsiders about, soon rising to power in the Xia residence through her son. The evidence was ironclad, and there were the letters Shishun had sent me that Shili delivered. That was the final straw that made Father explode. Father held a military rod, the heavy thuds of the rod falling accompanied by his furious scolding of disappointment. "Shameless wretch. Hanyu girl has waited for you all these years, and this is how you repay her. And you even dared to shamelessly slander your elder brother in the street, if not for him. You've completely disgraced the Xia family." Even across the many courtyards, though one could faintly hear Shishun's pained, muffled groans, Shishun was ultimately left speechless, collapsing in dejection on his knees. The next morning, as I passed by the study courtyard, I happened to encounter him coming out looking lost and devastated. Overnight, he seemed to have become haggard, with disheveled stubble and dark circles under his eyes. Those eyes that used to be so proud and smug had turned dim and lifeless. When he saw me, he nearly stumbled and fell, his lips trembling as if wanting to say something, but I merely nodded slightly, calling out in a polite yet distant manner, "Uncle." Then I brushed past him without pausing for even a moment. With a thud, the servants all rushed over. "Second young master. Second young master. Quick, call the doctor. Second young master has fainted. Quickly carry him back to his room." The comments sighed. "If you knew it would come to this, why did you do it in the first place? Oh wow, not worth any sympathy at all. It is all self-Jan inflicted. Hanyue did great." That is how it should be. Real women never look back. On the wedding day, the Marquise's manor was decorated with lanterns and festive ornaments, with guests filling the entrance. The crowd wasn't that large, but it was still lively. Shili said there were 2 reasons for this. First, having obtained such a beautiful bride, he wished he could announce it to the whole world, but feared others coveting her, so he only invited close relatives and friends. Second was naturally because of the Xia family's current situation, and she assumed that Qin Su wasn't someone to be trifled with either. After that day, she caused such a storm throughout the city that second young Master Xia became notorious. The Xia family couldn't deal with her while being in the eye of the storm, and Xia Xun was too severely injured to leave the house. This probably wouldn't end well sitting before the vanity, already dressed in the phoenix crown and bridal robes. The auspicious lady combed my hair while clicking her tongue in praise of Lord Xi's thoughtfulness. The auspicious hour had arrived. The wedding attendant covered me with the bridal veil and helped me out the door. The ceremony was grand and went smoothly. Father Xia sat in the seat of honor, his face showing relief and satisfaction. Xia Li wore bright red wedding attire, which made his figure look tall and straight. The refined and elegant young master gained an air of nobility, making him even more admirable. Through the veil, I felt the gaze falling upon me. Gentle yet firm. I suddenly felt very grateful for those handwritten notes. If not for them, I'm afraid that even after learning of Xia Xun's filthy deeds, I would have done as they said. For the rest of my life, just endure it like that. Fortunately, the person I love, he just happens to love me too. The ceremony is complete. The ceremonial official's voice was loud and festive. Just as everyone was about to offer congratulations, a commotion suddenly came from outside the manor gates. A woman dressed in plain clothes with a slightly protruding belly broke through the servants' blockade with tearful cries, finally collapsing before the wedding hall. "Xi Lang, how cruel your heart is. You promised to bring me into the manor. Or child cannot be without a father." Qin Su cried like a pear blossom in the rain, instantly attracting the gaze of all the guests. The entire hall erupted in shock. All eyes gathered on Xi Xun. He stood among the guests, his face deathly pale, trying to step forward to pull Qin Su away. But she clung tightly to his legs. What audacious woman dares to disrupt this wedding? Drag her out. Father Xi flew into a rage. "I'm not here to cause trouble. I'm pregnant with Xi Xun's child. He promised to marry me." Qin Su cried and struggled, causing chaos at the scene. The text went crazy. That idiot Xi Xun actually tried to get rid of her with just a few taels of silver before, forcing her to abort and leave. Xi Xun, that waste. She is clinging to you desperately. How could she let go easily? Now you've been pecked in the eye by the hawk, huh? Bro, quickly protect Han Yue. A woman's jealousy cannot be underestimated. High energy ahead. Melon. Eating bystander Elena is in position. To be honest, seeing this scene, I want to applaud Brother Xia Li. This is absolutely Xia Li's tacit approval, or even secretly fueling the fire to let Qin Su in. Why choose the wedding day? Because this is the killing move that completely cuts off Xi Xun's retreat, in front of all the guests, exposing all of Xi Xun's shameful dirty deeds. Look how calmly Xia Li handled it. Not only protecting Han Yue and preserving the Xie family's reputation, but also directly seizing control of the narrative and nailing Xi Xun completely to the pillar of shame. This is what you call a civil official's scheming. Don't provoke anyone, especially this kind of wife-protecting maniac who calculates everything in his bones. So cool. In the midst of this chaos, Xi Li, who had been silent all along, gently squeezed my hand, signaling me to relax. He stepped forward, not looking at the wailing Qin Su, but calmly swept his gaze across the entire venue before finally settling on Xi Xun. His voice wasn't loud, yet it clearly cut through all the noise. "This young lady, do you recognize her?" Xi Xun's lips trembled, and he finally nodded with difficulty. "Then is the child in her belly yours?" Xi Xun closed his eyes and said dejectedly, "Yes." Voices of discussion rose up all around. Xia Li nodded, his tone still calm and steady. "In that case, the Xia family will not deny responsibility. But today is the joyous wedding day for me and your sister Jianin Jianluo, and it cannot be disrupted. Uncle Zhao, please escort this young lady to the side residence and settle her there. Take good care of her. All matters will be personally handled and decided by father and me after the ceremony is complete." Unhurried and methodical with clear reasoning, he preserved the Xia family's dignity while unambiguously emphasizing who the main characters of today were, who would be the future mistress of the Shia residence, and firmly grasped the power to handle the situation in his hands. The difference was immediately clear, truly someone who stands at the center of power. Without even looking, I know my eyes are absolutely shining with admiration right now. This family matter has disturbed everyone's enjoyment. My apologies. Let the ceremony continue. I don't know if it is just my imagination, but I feel like after handling this matter, Shili seemed to be in an even better mood. The smile at the corner of his lips couldn't be suppressed. In contrast, Shun only said one sentence from beginning to end. The congratulatory voices around us were extremely ironic. He glanced in my direction and finally staggered away with a face ashen as death. The wedding night. Red candles burned high, filling the room with fragrance. The bridal veil was gently lifted. I raised my eyes and met Shirley's deep, smiling gaze. "My lady," he called to me softly, his voice tender and especially moving. "Han-yue, you are finally my wife. Don't be afraid, Jiang Nan. You've already made proper arrangements. In this life, I will never fail you. Han-yue, I love you more than anything." 3 days later, the return visit. Shili and I first went to burn incense at my parents' grave. Seely knelt down and earnestly apologized. He also told them that he had fallen for me first and had used all his wits, but asked them to rest assured that he would take full responsibility and would never let me suffer even the slightest grievance. Otherwise, he asked them to ensure he could never achieve his wishes in this lifetime, and his only wish was to spend the rest of his life with me. After that, we went to my aunt's house. She came out almost obsequiously. Looking at those expensive gifts Shirley brought, my aunt's eyes nearly disappeared from smiling, calling him dear son Den in Den law with every breath. Her enthusiasm was uncomfortably excessive. Actually, Shirley had sent word before asking her to look after me. Back then, my aunt probably thought like me that he was just going through the motions, appearing to comply on the surface while continuing as usual in private. But at least it ended my days of eating leftovers, and I would no longer be frozen bedridden in winter. After all, he is a grown man. When Shirley saw the small courtyard I used to live in, he pulled me into his embrace. I'm sorry, I still underestimated how snobbish they were. You suffered so much. All those times I was forced to bow my head and endured endless cold glares. I never shed a single tear. But now, with just one phrase from him, "You suffered so much," I broke down sobbing. I really wanted to say, "Ixi, if only you had told me directly back then, maybe I wouldn't have suffered so much." At least they would have shown me some consideration for his sake and not treated me so poorly, but I blamed myself even more for not insisting strongly enough on choosing Shirley back then. After my parents made their decision, I just kept chasing after Shun without giving Shirley even a sliver of hope. Those acrostic poems, perhaps I understood their meaning, but subconsciously I didn't dare think too deeply about them. Two people who weren't brave enough, but thankfully it is not too late. Everything in the past is like passing clouds. From now on, having you is all I need. Shirley tenderly wiped away the tears on my cheeks and gently placed a kiss on my forehead. And I have my wife. This life is complete. Regarding Chinsu's fate, Shun and Shirley had a conflict. Shun demanded that Chinsu drink an abortion potion, give her a generous sum of silver, and make her leave the capital never to return. Father Xia naturally felt this was improper and held an opposing view. Chinsu's intentions were complicated. The Xia household couldn't tolerate her, but the child still mattered. He ordered her to recuperate at the estate and make a decision after the child was born. Shirley proposed a compromise. Now, it is known throughout the capital, if he doesn't marry Chinsu back home, I'm afraid the Xia family's reputation will be affected. Anyway, Shun is in the northern border Yidzan round. Just take her directly there. The sky is high, and the emperor is far away. No one will know what happens afterward. Father Xi agreed. Shun was so angry he jumped up and down, refusing to marry Chinshu no matter what. But it was useless. Within half a month, using the excuse that Shun urgently needed to guard the northern border, the marriage was hastily concluded before the wedding. Shun naturally came to find me. He grabbed my hand and asked me with an indignant expression. Why exactly weren't things perfectly fine between us before? I did do something wrong to you, but what man doesn't have 3 or 4 wives? Won't Shirley be the same in the future? Forgive me, let's start over again, okay? He raised his hand and swore an oath, promising that from now on I would be his only wife. He said as long as I agreed, he'd have a way to resolve these matters, and my husband would still be him. Looking at his earnest eyes and gradually reddening eye sockets, I shook off his hand. Si-shun, you need to grow up. He stared at me in disbelief for a long while, then suddenly tried to lean closer. The difference in strength was too great. I couldn't break free. Stop, how dare you? Shili came just in time, harshly pulling Si-shun away. I didn't want to get entangled, so I pulled Shili to leave. By Hanya. Si-shun's voice carried a tremor, sounding as aggrieved as someone who'd been abandoned. Do you even know what kind of person Shirley really is? I turned my head to look. Shirley's steps instantly stiffened. Si-shun let out a scornful laugh, his eyes full of despair. Scared now. What you've done. How is it any better than what I did? Hanyue, you don't know this, but Chinsu was deliberately sent to me by someone close to you, just so they could take the opportunity to snatch you away from my side. Otherwise, why would my father not allow me to marry Chinsu? Yet he kept going on about the Xie family's reputation and forced me to marry her. That day when you two, his voice grew hoarse, on your wedding day, I had already sent her out of the city. Why was she able to appear without any obstruction and even had the audacity to cause a scene? Have you ever thought about that? Hanyue, he actually didn't love her that much. Everything I did was really, Si-shun, that is enough. I calmly gripped Shirley's fist that was clenched tight from nervousness. I smiled at him. Shirley froze, then immediately held my hand back. Si-shun stared fixedly at our clasped hands, still in disbelief. Why? I sighed and looked at him helplessly. Si-shun, you understand, don't you? Are you and I really what you imagine? What Shirley has done, what it means to me, you should understand. No, I don't understand. Si-shun looked at me pleadingly. Hanyue, the one you should love is me. I'm sorry. Whether Si-shun was unwilling because his desires went unfulfilled, or he truly had developed feelings for me, all I could say was this one sentence. Si-shun is pitiful, but also hatefully unaware of himself. Men are always like this, doing selfish things under the guise of, it is for your own good, never feeling guilty when they hurt others. Good thing our CP can understand each other with just one look. Otherwise, if it ended badly, I wouldn't even have a place to cry. By the way, Shili has been hiding his true abilities. Hanyue should have known all along. Right. She didn't look surprised at all. I knew. I started suspecting when he insisted on taking me out before his wedding, until the day Chinsu burst into the wedding hall. Shili knew her purpose early on but didn't deal with it, which means he definitely had some scheme. Si-shun is just a military man. How could he outplay those who manipulate the court? But as I said, everything he plotted was for me. And if one's heart is righteous, how could any demons, ghosts, or evil spirits tempt them? Having said this much, Si-shun isn't stupid. He retreated helplessly, his eyes shattered as he asked, so, there is no chance for us anymore, is there? Even if I can wait for you to fall in love with me again. Si-shun, I spoke to him. But I was looking at Shili. The person I love has always been him, and that won't change. Shili's eyes stirred slightly. He held me tight and said softly, I did do those things. But Si-shun, ask yourself honestly, if you truly loved Hanya, you would instinctively think of her, but what have you done all these years? Sometimes love can be confused with unwillingness and habit. Think it over carefully. Before departing, Si-shun came to bid us farewell. He looked more composed, but a lingering gloom still shrouded his brows. He looked at Shili and me standing side by side, his expression complicated. In the end, he only bowed deeply to Shili. Brother, I was a bastard before. I'm sorry. Shili nodded faintly. I hope you conduct yourself well. Si-shun looked at me again, his lips moving as if he had 1,000 words to say. But in the end they only turned into one sentence. Sister Jen in Dan Law, take care. I nodded slightly, my expression calm. Little uncle, have a safe journey. Nothing more was said. He turned and left, his figure desolate. It seemed to mark the end of this absurd past. The writing also finally settled on one sentence. The dust has settled, each finding their own happiness. Han Yue and brother must be happy. The winter sunlight streamed through the window lattice, falling on Shirley's profile as he reviewed documents. He seemed to sense something and looked up at me. With a slight smile, he put down his brush and reached out his hand toward me. "My lady, come here." I smiled and walked over, placing my hand in his warm palm. Outside the window, snow fell silently. Inside the room, it was warm as spring. Our story has only just begun. Seeing Xiaoxun's line "sister, in-law take care" at the end of the main text, and then seeing Shirley's gentle line "my lady, come here." Elena really breathed a long sigh of relief. Babes, this story really touched me deeply. In real life, we rarely have a cheat code like seeing the bullet comments to predict a partner's betrayal or lies in advance. But what is most worth learning from Han Yue is her clarity and decisiveness when facing the truth. When she discovered someone else was hidden in her fiancé's carriage, she didn't choose to confront him, cry or beg him to stay. Nor did she deceive herself by saying maybe he has his reasons. The only thing she did was quickly cut her losses, turn the carriage around, and go seize her own true happiness. Many people like Xiaoxun initially mistake possessiveness, habit, and charity for love, saying "I'll protect you," while shamelessly consuming your feelings behind your back. But what is true love really like? It is like Liv is planning, it is arranging an escape route for you. It is even preparing the petition to resign and go south for you. It is even "if you don't love me, I'll give you the freedom of a divorce letter." Girls, you must remember, don't listen to what a man says. Watch what he does. If a relationship makes you feel wronged, exhausted, or disrespected, please bravely turn around like Han Yue. Don't be afraid to abandon sunk costs, because only by pouring out the dirty water in your cup can you catch the sweet spring that fate bestows upon you. May we all develop a keen eye and be the leading lady of our own lives, firmly grasping the happiness that belongs to us. Love you all. See you in the next story.